with an education from this amazing school. You all have everything you need. For those of you who may not know much about my background, I grew up in a working class neighborhood on the south side of Chicago. We lived in a really small apartment. I often woke up at 4 in the morning when the house was finally quiet, just so that I could concentrate and finish my schoolwork.
The strength of a woman. Michelle Obama's most eye-opening speech. Michelle Obama mentioned that when the most qualified person running for the elections was a woman, just look at what we ended up doing instead. That should tell us something about where we are at the moment. That is the question that requires answering. If women are still suspicious of one another, and if they still have this crazy bar for each other that they don't have for a man, if we are still doing that today and are more uncomfortable with the idea that a woman could be our president in comparison to what, then what does that say about us? We hope that one day girls will be able to fail as badly as guys do and still be okay with it. Because let me tell you, it is frustrating to watch men fail up, and the reason is that. Very frustrating. It is exhausting to watch many men miss their chance and win. So many of us have managed to get our seats at the table. But at this point, we are still too grateful to be at the table to shake things up. And that's not meant to be a critique, because it was so difficult for so many people just to get to the table. So you're just holding on. Right now, we have no choice but to take chances for our girls. We need to have the attitude that we are willing to give up a small portion of something. It is not enough for us to just maintain our positions at the table in order to be of assistance to our daughters. We need to do something for them, and we should admit the strength they possess.
Parents told me every day I could do anything. I could grow up to be a doctor, a lawyer, a scientist, whatever, but only if I worked as hard as I could to succeed in school. So I worked hard in school. I read everything I could get my hands on. I did my absolute very best on every single assignment. I did everything in my power to be a good student. I dreamed of one day going to one of the best universities in America. But despite my efforts, there were still people in my life who told me that I was setting my sights too high, that a girl like me couldn't get into an elite university. It was like these folks were trying to put me in a little box, a box that fit their constrained expectations of me. And after a while, I started to wonder, well, maybe I was dreaming too big. I didn't have anyone to help me study for entrance exams. And the fact that I was a girl and that I was black, well, that certainly didn't help things either. You know what it's like when a family struggles to make ends meet. And the world needs more girls like you growing up to lead our parliaments and our boardrooms and our courtrooms and our universities. We need you, but in every corner of the globe. And that starts with making sure that every girl on this planet has the kinds of opportunities you all have to get the education and to succeed. As you've heard, right now there are more than 62 million girls around the world who are not in school. Girls whose families don't think they're worthy of an education or they can't afford it. Girls who live too far away from the nearest school and have no transportation. Girls like Malala Yousafzai who are assaulted, kidnapped, or killed just for trying to learn. And this isn't just a devastating loss for these girls. It's a devastating loss for all of us who are missing out on their promise. One of these girls could have the potential to cure cancer or start a business that transforms an industry or become the next president or prime minister who inspires her country. When the most qualified person running was a woman, and look what we did instead. I mean, that says something about where we are. You know, I forget everybody else. That's what we have to explore, because if we as women are still suspicious of one another, if we still have this crazy bar for each other that we don't have for men, if we're not comfortable with the notion that a woman could be our president compared to what? I wish that girls could fail as bad as men do. Because let me tell you, watching men fail up, it is frustrating to see a lot of men blow it. So many of us have gotten ourselves at the table, but we're still too grateful to be at the table to really shake it up. That's not a criticism, because for so many, just getting to the table was so hard.